All right, we're officially recording. Oh, Alex, today's subject is mostly about how I'm doing video now, but I got some, my last solo episode, I did funny news. So we're going to do that again. I got 3 links for us to look at. I'm going to tell you all about the weird stuff that's going on in New England. Oh, I know another thing I want to talk about. Write this down. Alrighty. Cue the music! I'll just put that in there, I guess. American by birth, Southerner by blood, New Englander by choice. If you're on Instagram, I got 2 of you, 1 of you, none of you. I'm on Twitch, right? It's New England, one word, _ alien. That's what it is. New England _ alien. I don't know why I didn't do Pilgrim's Digress. I think I do know why. I didn't do Pilgrim's Digress because I wanted to do, this is leading into my first subject of the day, I wanted to do, have some space for another podcast that I'm doing called Professional Envelopment. Most of you probably know, and I've interviewed some other teachers. I can lean back and chill. I've interviewed some other teachers. Look at my light up there. That's just embarrassing. Some other teachers who are in the business, so to speak. I actually just hung out with Chris Stark for funsies. I think it's episode 12. No, it was the most recent, last episode. I just hung out with him. Sorry for the mic. For funsies just last weekend. So that was cool. So I've chose New England Alien just to give myself some breathing room for anything else I might be wanting to do as well for Twitch. And the reason I'm going Twitch and not YouTube Live, but I will be posting this to YouTube channel. The reason I went Twitch is because people can sponsor me on Twitch. How do I sponsor you? Pilgrim, you may ask. That's me putting my hand to my ear. If you have our Amazon Prime account, and I still got to set all this up. I just know I've done it with a streamer myself. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can sign up to, and it doesn't cost you anything. It just comes with your account. I would be your preferred streamer, right? And I don't even know how much money I get. I just know that you can do that. I know I get money or something. I'll take a gift card, whatever. But I just wanted a platform that I could use to get my ugly face on a screen somewhere so I could pair this with the actual podcast. So I'm currently streaming on Instagram and Twitch right now, which I'll probably be doing throughout every time I do this now, hopefully. And my guests may or may not be open to video, but I'll be sure to ask. I do have a couple, actually. I may actually ask some of my former guests if I could post the video as well, if they'd be up for that or not. I'm not too sure. But, so that's what's going on with Twitch, and I mentioned my other podcast, Professional Envelopment. I've been mentioning this podcast on that podcast and over and through. But Professional Envelopment is literally, right, so I have like an hour drive. Professional Envelopment is me talking to my phone for 5 to 10 minutes about what happened in the crazy day of the high school history teacher. That's it. And I've always got stories to tell. That's for sure. For sure. So head on over. You can, it's where all podcasts are, Apple and Google and Stitcher and a couple other. You head on over to Professional Envelopment. And that's without the E in the middle. I always try to spell it. It looks like Professional Envelopment, but I'm pretty sure the word development doesn't have the E after LOP. So I did that with envelopment because it takes over our lives. We dedicate ourselves to the education of the children. This is so annoying for you and for me. I might just get rid of it. I feel like I could do something to make it stick better. Right there. All right, so that's with Professional Envelopment. I talk a little bit about what happened, some of my great stories, and it's all positive. I have teachers that listen to it, and it is all positive. It's not a BITCH fest. It's not a complain fest. It's just about how I could be a better teacher, and I always try to leave some words of encouragement for any teachers that might be struggling or just, coasting along. That's always fun, too. that I can help them keep it on. It's more like me talking to myself to feel better about what's going on in my teaching career. Because, there's just some days just wacky. Some days are fine. Some days are wacky. What I get out of it, that was a gross scratch. Sorry, everybody. It's like scratching my belly like a redneck. Speaking of redneck, I'm thirsty. This podcast is not brought to you by Bud Light. With the Patriots face on it. Patriots hat, what up? So, that's a good time. Head on over to Professional Development. If you you're not into teaching or any stories like that, let another teacher know. And it could just be the thing that comes up on their feed and they listen to it for 5-10 minutes, and that's that. Probably going to post some of my teacher stuff from this podcast over there as well. So depending on how much space I'm renting on the podcast feeder people that I use. So that's a good time. So yeah, I'm filming through Twitch here. I'm going to post it to YouTube as well. And my new podcast, Professional Development, is out. I've got about 8 episodes. They're very short, and they're very raw and real. Yeah, what I do is I have a Post-it note on my desk all day, and if something funny happens, I write it down. Or something interesting happens, I write it down so that I can talk about it in the car later. Next up, I am so excited to celebrate the fact that I have listeners from other countries now. Woo! I could look them up, but I don't want to take the time to do that. I want to thank my listeners from Russia. I want to thank the few listeners from Austria, Lithuania. Oh, gross. Edit that out. I want to thank my listeners from Austria, Lithuania, Russia, China, Spain, United Kingdom, Ireland, and Ukraine. Really excited. Thank you for listening overseas. If you miss New England, I'm your guy to listen to about New England, to talk about New England. And please tell your friends. If you're on a military base, because I grew up in the military, well, my father was in the Air Force. Thank you for your service and living not on American soil, so to speak, is not the best of times, but it's a good experience, and you deserve all the perks you get. That's for sure. I'm writing down another thing I want to talk about. So thank you to all the new listeners, and that segues into another podcast I'm in. Oh my gosh, I'm so busy. Somebody's recruiting for some actors for a dramatic, kind of a scary podcast. So I signed up. The podcast is called Scared Shirtless. Google it now. It's on Facebook and Instagram. There are 4 episodes in, and I'm in it. Excuse me. I'm so in it, y'all. I am Mr. Knives. So far, I've had 2 lines, and I feel very important. I'll have more lines later on. I've barely done half of they barely played half my lines in the episodes. And I'm really excited. It was a lot of fun to do, and I hope we get to do something for any of those producers/writers again. Very exciting. So head on over to Scared Shirtless. I'll put a link in the description of this show for you to go find that. I say one thing in episode 2, and I have like 2 or 3 lines in episode 4. And I want to thank those guys over there, guys and gals over there that hooked me up with a place to promote this show and just to have a good time and acting. I figured if I'm going to voice act, you don't have any visuals, so you gotta really put into the acting's got to be in the voice, you know. One of the lines is like, "I don't give a damn what he said." That's fun. I even gave it to them in British and Southern accents as well, but they didn't use it. I don't blame them. They were both pretty bad. But they're also asking me to be able to do a cabbie, like a taxi cab driver, in a Boston or New York accent. accent. So I'm gonna watch Good Will Hunting a couple times, and then I'll watch Gangs in New York. Both great accent movies. Daniel Day-Lewis, what a great job. So that's going on. Scared, Shirtless. I am Mr. Knives, and you should go listen to it. Check it out. I'll be on there regularly throughout this one. I think it's episode 4, 5, 7, I think. So that's a good time. So, guys, if you're not from New England, you're missing out on, this is like the 2-3 weeks of perfect foliage. Almost said foliage. Foliage. Orange, red, some green. We'll take it. A little purple here and there. It's beautiful here. So, if you haven't, you'll probably do it when you get old. Make a drive up to Western Mass, Central Mass, New Hampshire. Don't bother with Connecticut. I love you guys, but Connecticut. Come on up and check that out. A lot of good places just to relax and chill out. On my 10th anniversary, we went up to northern New Hampshire and we just read books in the woods. What a great time. What a good time. Along with nature, I'm very excited because next Monday, I am going to take my first and hopefully only hunter safety course. I've already got my gun license. It's somewhere in this room. Where did I put that thing? Oh, here it is. Is this it? Oh, that's my taxes from 2018. Yeah, well, my gun license is in here somewhere. You would think I would put that in an important spot. There's the title to the truck. Well, I'll find it. Anyway, I got a gun license. Now I got to buy a gun. And by gun, I mean shotgun. And then I'm taking a hunter's course, and I'll be done on December 7th, which gives me only 1 week for shotgun season, but it gives me 3 or 4 weeks for muzzleloader season and archery. So I'm hoping just to get out there once this season, but I definitely want to go on a full-fledged hunt this spring for some gobblers. So, Andy, you know who you are. You know who you are. Andrew, get your Benelli out. Wash your camo. Set up the blind. I'll buy my own turkey collar. Thank you. I'll see you in April. Or May. I don't know when the season is. So stay tuned to my Instagram in 9 months. 7 months for me holding a few turkeys that I have shot and I'm about to eat. So, if you saw earlier, I got a butcher box, made a great steak today. I'm really getting into the idea of shooting animals. Not to be like political or anything, because that's not the thing here, but I've got into this show called Meat Eater on Netflix. Check it out, because they talk about the ethics of hunting. And let's just put it this way. The deers you see in the woods, if you do, they're going to get killed by a few things. Number one, they're going to get killed by your car. Number two, they're going to get killed by wolves, coyotes, or a bear. Or they might get punctured by another deer's antlers, and that'll get infected, and they will suffer and die. So when you shoot them with an arrow or a bullet, they will not suffer and die if you do it right. And you're actually doing them a favor. And you're doing some of the ecosystem a favor, because I know Pennsylvania, a couple other states, deer are just everywhere, and it's overpopulated, and you're helping out the ecosystem when you do something like that. So that's why I'm really getting interested in hunting and things like that. I don't like buying, I mentioned Butcher Box, I don't like buying meat from the factories and all that factory farm stuff. So I'm looking into doing that. I'd like to be able to fill a freezer of deer 1 year and, you know, let the kids figure out what's going on, how to eat that and be responsible there. So I'll keep everybody up to date on that here on Pilgrims Digress. All right. On to other news. Let's see, I got a couple links here. First up, let's see. Let's do the Celtics first, right? I'm really into the Celtics, and if you listen to my last episode, I said it was Chris Stark, but it wasn't. It was the sports guy. Caleb, I feel like his name is. No, that's Caleb watching right now. Claptrap. That was it. Zach Clapp. Jeez. Zach Clapp was on, and we talked sports, and he actually mentioned this person who is on the Celtics. This dude is 7'5", and he is on the injured reserve list because loading page. There he is, 99. He's huge. 7'5" NBA rookie Tacko Fall concussed after hitting his head on low ceiling. I'm like 5'7", and I wish I had this problem. Boston Celtics rookie suffered a concussion after working out at the team's practice facility. He was washing his hands when he hit his head on the low ceiling. Oh, goodness. He didn't think much about it. He went about his day. Then he went to the Charlestown Boys and Girls Club, went to the Auerbach Center to put in more work. The next morning, he got a headache. He went through the concussion protocol, but expects to be cleared to play soon. That is funny. Undrafted, but signed as a free agent. Hit his head. Didn't even know it. That's the travails of being 7'5". Something happened to Zion Williamson, too. He ended up getting hurt. He fell or was wrestling something. Some kid was telling me about that at work today. All right, next up. This one's kind of weird. This one's about a Tesla driver who is not driving it. Tesla driver appears asleep behind wheel on the Mass Turnpike. Exit 17, Interstate 90. Where is exit 17? It is... which way is which? Yes, exit 1 is way down there. So they're west of me. And when you watch the video, I'll link all these, obviously. When you watch the video, dude is... they're like... the passenger is like out. Like... and the driver is just like slumped over with his head down. I would argue it kind of looks like a prank. I'm not going to lie. A driver on the Massachusetts Turnpike. The Turnpike, man, you go 80 miles an hour. It's scary. Said he saw a motorist in the lane next to him, apparently asleep behind the wheel. Oh, it's in Newton. Exit 17 in Newton. That's right. Oh, I had it backwards. Quote, I kind of looked over and saw what I thought was somebody asleep at the wheel, and I was like, that can't be right. So I did a double take. Looked over, and sure enough, this guy was just head between his legs, completely asleep. He's a sports journalist. It seemed like he had his cruise control on about 55 or 60. And then he says, there's a little video on here. He says, I just sped ahead and went about my business. That's weird. I didn't know Tesla. I thought Teslas could can they drive themselves like that? How does it know where to go? Many of these videos appear dangerous pranks or hoaxes, Tesla said Monday night in a statement. Our driver monitoring system repeatedly reminds drivers to remain engaged and prohibits the use of autopilot when warnings are ignored. At highway speeds, drivers typically receive warnings every 30 seconds or less if hands aren't on the wheel. Tesla owners have driven billions of miles using autopilot. Blah, blah, blah. We're the best. Don't argue with us. I'm personally looking forward to automatic driving. I hope my kids don't have to learn to drive. And I'm excited to be 60, 70, 80 years old and not have to worry about driving or driving horribly. That's a BL with a Patriots logo on it. They've got Tom Brady's motto, let's go. And it says Super Bowl LIII champions. I don't even know what Super Bowl that is. All I know is that there's 6 of them and there's 6 stars. And that's all that matters. Go Pats. F the Jets. All right, last up, and then the episode will be over. I heard this one on another podcast, and it was from New England, so I wanted to pick it up. World's largest Ouija board in Salem, Massachusetts. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? I've been to Salem during Halloween time, and it is a blast. Some parts of it are super, super touristy, but if you go in the back alleys, find yourself in a couple of cool places, you'll have a good time. But the best part about the whole thing is just the people that are just hanging out. A lot of people are dressed up and doing like funny stuff. But if you look at this thing, it's huge. It's like 3,000 square feet, and like the people stand on it. It's so weird. The town, notorious for its witch hunt, too much scrolling, in the late 17th century, seems an especially eerie resting place for another spooky piece of American history. Parker Brothers bought the rights to the game in 1966. It's not real. You know why it's not real? I'm the guy that moves the Ouija board. I am. I'm also the guy that changes the telephone game. That's me. I do that. World's largest Ouija board unveiled in Salem. Go check it out. Hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. Tell me about your Ouija board times. Anything crazy happened with you at the Ouija board? I'll open the Twitch here. Oop, there it is. Let me know. It's been 25 minutes. It's been great spending that with everybody. Come out, look at the leaves. I'll update you on hunting as well. Go listen to Scared Shirtless. And anybody on Instagram, thanks for watching. I'm going to post the whole thing anyway. And same with Twitch. It's going to save. And I appreciate everybody listening. Head on over to a professional envelopment as well. And hey, have a good week. I'll be back. I've got 2 exciting guests lined up. We're going to be talking beer and a couple other things. So have a great week or 2 weeks, however, whenever I get back to this. Thanks again for listening. Please share on Instagram and Twitter, and head over to iTunes and like what you see so I can get some more